Okay then, so now let's start creating this project. So first of all, what we need to do is to create a React application. So open up your command prompt and navigate to your desired folder location. So now let me navigate to the desktop, cd desktop, and here I'm going to create a new directory. So mkdir, make directory called video app hyphen YouTube, enter, and let me move into that application. So that created that folder, and let me open it in the Visual Studio Code, and that will open my Visual Studio Code. Where it is? Oh, here it is. It's in my another screen. Cool. So this, we successfully created that folder, and let's open the terminal and create a new terminal, clear the screen, and here we are going to run the command to create the React application. So before starting this, you need to make sure that you have Node.js in your machine. If you don't have, go ahead their official website and download the recommended version for all the users and install it, and then come over here and run this command. So npx create react app dot slash. Dot slash is nothing but we are going to create everything inside this folder. So press enter, and that will start installing all the recommended files for our React application. So it started to create a new React app and it started to download. So this might take a while. So in the meanwhile, let's go ahead and create the Firebase application also. So to create a Firebase project, so go to the firebase.google.console.com. So I'll leave this link in the description box. Go ahead and click that link, open it, and click this, go to console. That will takes you to the Firebase console, and here click this add new project and give a new project over here. So video app YouTube. Okay, so make sure that spell as a unique name. So this is the name of your project. You can use whatever name. You're free to use a different name for your project. So click continue. If you wish to have all the Google Analytics for this project, you can enable it. So I'm not going to enable this. So let me close it. Create project. So this will take nearly 5 to 15 seconds, or it will create that project. So it's going to done. And let me check what is the status of our, still it's loading. Okay, so it's successfully finishing up the project. Okay, it's done. So now click here, continue, and that will takes you to the that particular Firebase console. So here we are going to enable the Firestore database and Firestore storage, and also the real-time database also. Later in future, if you wish to add anything to your real-time database also, you can enable it. And then we need to create a web app where we are going to configure all the necessary things. Okay, so first let's go ahead and create the Firestore database, enable the Firestore database for our project. Click it, and that will load the Firestore database. I don't know why it's taking too long. Maybe it's because of this. It's loaded. So click create database. So this will open up. So here it will shows you two different mode, production mode and test mode. In this case, we are going to use the production mode itself. Test mode will be deactivated for within the next 30 days. So that will gives you all the permissions until this particular timestamp. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to change the rules and all those things. So click the production mode and click next, and choose their nearby Firebase cloud storage location. I'm going to leave it as it is. So then click enable. So this will take a few seconds or a minute. So please be patient until it gets done. It's setting up the security rules and all those things. So security rules, it's highly important to avoid hacking avoid unwanted access to your account. So first of all, you need to update your security rules. So go to the rules section. Okay, go to the rules section, and here it's showing read and write, it's false. So just change this to, for the time being, true. So that will allows us to read and write all the actions, whatever we need to do for this database. For this is not the highly secured rule, but this will make our work done to insert and update and all those things. So if you go ahead and go through their Firebase rules documentation, that will gives you all the necessary details what you want to learn about that. So let's go to the data back. So currently this data is empty, and let's move on to the Firebase storage. So currently the storage is empty, nothing is there. Let's go to the rules over here. So rules, it's also false over here. So let me change it to true. Save the changes. So that will be updated. So go through, click here to go through their complete rules, structures and all those things. Click here and go. It will take you to their official website and you can search and all those things. I'm going to create a new folder over here to save all the videos. So videos and click add folder, because inside this folder only we are going to add all our videos for this project. Later if you're having any images around all those things, we can create a new folder for images and we can keep it separately in an organized way. So, and now what we need to do, go to the real-time database and let's enable the real-time database also. Create database and click next, enable. So this will create the real-time database, and go to the rules. I'm not going to do anything with the database and all those things. So, but even though I need to update the rules and all, so for the just for a read, I'm going to change it to true, and write, I'm going to make it false. Later, if I'm using, I will change this permission over here. Okay, so now we all done, we enabled all these things, and last one more thing, we need to enable the authentication also. So go to the authentication and get started. Okay, so now authentication is enabled, so it will added the local host and the all these domains are authorized to access all these authentication providers. So later I'll show you how to enable the Google authentication provider. For the time being, we just leave it as it is. And let's go to the project settings. And then here we have to click this, because we are going to create a Firebase web app, not Android and iOS. We are going to create a web app, create it and give a name for it. I'm just going to use video app -Vite, same. We'll worry about this Firebase hosting later. So click register app. So that will register our application, and this is our complete API keys and all the configurations for our project. So here we need to install this in our project. So let's go back to the console, and here we can access all these applications from here. Okay, so now let's get back to the VS Code. And now look at that, our project is successfully created. So if you have a look at this folder structure, it's having a bunch of CSS file and bunch of files in it, app.test.js, report, web vitals and all those things. So we do as usually what we do for all the projects. So let's clean up, right click and delete it. And let's create a new folder called src. Inside this folder, what we need to do, we need to create a new file called index.js, new file index.js, and we are going to create a new file, one more file, index.css. Okay, so inside this index.js, what we are going to do is we are going to add all the necessary things what we need to add. So let's import the React from React. Okay, so this will add the React from the React. Then we need to add the React DOM, where we are going to load all our components. So React DOM, it's loading. Come on, why is it taking this much time? I don't know. So React DOM from, not from React, React DOM from React DOM. Okay, so React DOM. Then what we need to do is we need to load our index.css also, /index.css, And then now we need to render our application. So react dom dot render. Okay, so inside here we are going to render our app. Let's say we render our app. So currently we don't have this app component. We need to create that app component. We are rendering this app component, and then it's going to be rendered inside the document dot get element by id called root. So if you wonder where this root is coming from, that is coming from your index.html. If you go to the index.html, you can see that div id root. So all the components, it's going to be rendered inside this particular root element. Okay, so now let's go ahead and create this app component. So let's create a new source app.js. So RAFCE, this helps you to create a React arrow function export component. This is nothing but the ES7 snippet, which helps you to create, to write the React code much faster. So go ahead and click this extension and click ES7 React snippets. Where it is, this one, ES7 React Redux React Native snippet, which really helps and comes handy when you're writing the React code and when you are developing a React project. Okay, so RAFCE, so that will create a React component, a functional export component. So save the changes. For the time being, we are leaving as it is as an app. And now let's fire our deployment server. So npm run start will make sure whether everything is working fine or not. So it's up and running, and our project, it's loaded. It's loading, still loading, and it's showing app is not defined. I expected, because we not linked our app in our index.js. So press control slash, that will import our application. So it's imported app from /app, and look at that, we have our app component which is loaded. Cool. So our deployment server and our React application, everything is working fine. And now what we need to do, we need to stop the server, stop it, and we need to install Chakra UI for our application. So if you search for Chakra UI, you can find their official documentation. So click their official documentation, and we are going to implement all these functionalities to our application. That's what we are going to do next.